This map first impressions video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at the hills of Slovenia. This map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and you can find a link to download the map in the description below. Now before we move on into the map, I want to address what I consider a rather big elephant in the room, and that is the lack of seasons no mask or seasons mask. Now, I know, very well know, that we are all looking at the screen right now and we see a composite image of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. But I'm telling you, if you look in the map files themselves, this map does not support a seasons mask. You look here, right here, at the winter segment of this image, you're going to see snow under this shed, under this trailer. So right there, that should tell you this map does not have the seasons snow mask or seasons mask. So if you do play with this map with seasons, 1, expect snow in buildings. 2, hay and grass will not rot. 3, grass always rots no matter what. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and move on in to the map video. I'm going to pick the typical mods that we look at when we do these map videos. That should just about do us. Pull up the log. Map loads up pretty quick. And here we are at the main farm. Now, something else to note, we are in new farmer mode. If you load this map up in Farm Manager or start from scratch, you will have all of the vehicles and implements and tools that you see here on the screen, but what you will not have are any of the buildings. I think the well might stay, but you don't have any of these buildings, none of these animal areas, farmhouse here, none of that exists. And the key to know, or the important reason to know that is, you look here under placeables, you cannot buy the custom cow, pig, sheep, or chicken areas that are here at the main farm. So if you do a start from scratch or farm manager mode, you're going to be stuck putting your own stuff down. You're going to have to flatten areas and everything because this is not a flat farmyard. We don't have a farmhouse. We don't have any custom sheds. Anything else is not going to be custom, or that is custom in new farmer mode is not going to be available in any other game mode. Go ahead and take a look at the map itself. This is a fairly small map. In fact, if we zoom out and we assume that this whole image is the size of a standard map, you can see that this is a pretty small map, pretty small fields indeed. In fact, of this whole area, only the area around the river and cutting through right here, and of course around this lake, is playable. If you look at the lands area, you're going to see that there is this chunk of forest over here to the left, this big forest over here to the right. Those are not playable areas. You can't get to there. I was looking at this initially, I looked at that and I was like, why on earth can I not get access to that beautiful forest? That is a lot of trees. That is a fair bit of land that could expand your gameplay for sure. I could see why I wouldn't be able to go across the river. Why couldn't the player boundary be the river and this lake here would open up a fair chunk of additional land right here and potentially over here. So the main farm you can buy for $127,000, and it does have a pig, sheep, cow, and chicken area. There are no horses embedded on the map. If you want horses, you're going to have to place them yourself. And something else that is noticeably missing is there is no BGA on the map. If you want a BGA and you're a PC player, you can place your own BGA. I don't know if there is a placeable BGA for consoles or not. Let's take a look at some of the prices of the land here. We've got a forest here, $112,000. Another forest, $153,000, $141,000. Take a look at some of these fields. Field 23, 24, and 25, $63,000. This decent chunk of land here that includes field 36 and Fort Southeast area is $179,000. Nice coastal area here by the lake, $208,000. Field 4 here by the farm includes a little bit of a forest, $148,000. Interesting area across the street, $4,233. So there you go. That's kind of some samples of field prices. We do have all of the standard Farm Sim 19 crops available to us here on the map. We have two main sell points on the map. We do have a sell point, the spinnery for our cotton and wool. But as you see, there is no BGA. There's no buyable BGA. The barn will accept our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Start with a decent list of starting equipment, but do note the New Holland TX32 and the TX32 header are leased. These are not owned. These are leased from day one. You want to not incur leasing costs, trade those in immediately. While we do have animal pens on the map, we do not own any animals at the start, and we do have contracts available to us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the garage, and let's go to the leased items, and you can see right here, TX32 and the TX32 header are indeed leased items. Get rid of those things right away. You don't want to be incurring lease costs. Now let's take a look at the equipment we actually own. We own the Fendt Favorite 511C and the Fiat 1300 DT. So both of our tractors are 115 and 150 horsepower. We have the New Holland L218 skid steer. We have the old style pickup truck, the SEK 802 trailer, POH5 Agromaz plow, Polymag 300 cultivator, the MKE 300 power harrow. We have the Superflex 800 manure spreader, Kuhn side mower, the Vicon tedder, small Pottinger single row windrower, the Strauderman, the small Strauderman forage wagon, and we have a bale spike for our skid steer. And as we've seen, we do not have any custom custom building placeable areas that we can put down on the map. So the farmhouse does have the sleep trigger right here. You have a farmhouse that we can go into. I have to say that I think the scaling is a little weird with respect to some of this stuff, like a table that is seemingly neck height. And these must be the hardest mattresses known to man. They're pretty darn thin. But we still have a kitchen. Oh my gosh. Either I'm super short or those are going to be pretty far out of reach. But still, we do have a farmhouse, and I am in just a bit. We do have a farmhouse that we can go into. Lots of maps don't even have this. Over here to our right, we have our sheep area. We have our plow, our mower, pickup, header, a windrower. Here we have the food trough for our sheep, and then our animal buy trigger inside the building. We're going to have to go outside and over here to reach our water trough. Now, I did activate the animal extension mod, animal pen extension mod. I get this wrong every time. I did activate the animal pen extension mod, which does put the valve and spout here for PC players. I do this because I want to see if the map has customized support for this. This map does not have customized support, so they are right here to place yourself if you should so wish. I've looked around and I'm not really sure where the wool pallets spawn here in the sheep area. I haven't found any marked areas. Don't appear to be any marked triggers or pallet spawn point. There's some deco bales, some other decorative stuff. We've got our pickup wagon, our cultivator, trailer, and our tractor. Over here we have our chicken area. So we have our feed area, and right here by the tree we have the chicken trigger. We have the cow area here. Fire cows. Inside here we have the straw trough as well as the feed trough for our cows. We have the silage. Here we have a manure pile. Now, I'm not sure if this manure pile is shared with the pigs or not. We also have a slurry point back here. Again, I'm not sure if it's shared with the pigs or not. Down here by the street, we have the water trough for our cows. Also, on the other side of this building, we have the milk trigger right here around the door. And it looks like skid steer up there. Our skid steer is indeed interesting. Our skid steer is way up here. So this is designed for you to use a front loader or telehandler or something to put the bales up here. Use a skid steer to stack your bales around up here, and then you can use the skid steer to drop the hay, straw down into here. Now, I don't know if the straw is got a straw bale trigger or not, or if you're going to have to come in here with a blower to do your straw. You definitely drop your hay or silage bales down there for direct feeding. Here we have our pig pen. Water trough for a pig pen. Over here we have the slurry. Again, I don't know if this is a combined slurry for the pigs and the cows or not. Cows definitely produce manure and slurry on the map. Once again, in here we have our food and straw triggers. Well, that should answer that question. There is probably the manure for pigs. So the buy trigger for our pigs is over here by this gate. Found it earlier and I was like, where on earth did I find it at? There you go. So let's just check and see. Pigs do indeed make manure and slurry. Not really sure. Oh, here's the slurry point. Right in front of me. Snake, it would have bit my hand off. So that is the main farm. I'm going to go ahead and get set up to do a little bit of a fly around on the map. Then we'll land at the shop, do a quick drive around, and that should do us for the hills of Slovenia. All right, so you're going to find we don't have to get very high to basically see the entire map at this point. So the tree line, that is the westernmost edge. Of course, the river is the northernmost edge of the map. Everything on the other side of the river is outside of the player boundary. That forest that is directly in front of us is also outside forest. Not that forest. Forest over there is outside the player boundary. First off, course, the forest on the other side of the river is, and the forest directly in front of us is outside the player boundary. That is pretty much the entire map. It's pretty small, pretty condensed. Definitely a map for small equipment. I don't know if you're going to want anything really bigger than maybe 4 meters on a map of this size, even if you kind of expand the fields here. Here we have our sawmill, our wood chip and log trigger, main farm over there. Just these random little square fields made out of this big grassy area. Just strikes me as a little odd that the farmer would have this big grass, just big cleared area, and he would choose to just plow up that little rectangle and that one over there. I mean, I get it. You would have areas that maybe would have too steep of a hillside, like here. Maybe they're too rocky, so you wouldn't have a field. But why didn't the farmer just continue this field over here, all the way over here to this rock ledge? Of course, if you're playing this map, you can always obviously just do that on your own. That is a heck of a church. That would be interesting. Take a boat to church every day, but at any rate. Got a sell point over here, and then this is that forest that I talked about being kind of off limits. That is the map boundary that I'm running up against. So it's kind of an interesting decision that the map border doesn't just go around the river, allowing us to get access to this forest. This forest is indeed off limits to the player. Forest across the river is. Coming in here to town, we have our other sell point, and then we have the shop. Shop here is where we have our barn. Sell point over here by the bales. Then we have our shop trigger. We have our buy and customize and return trigger here out front. I have a player that likes to use the shop trigger, then you can come in here and activate that. Go ahead and get our Mahindra and do a bit of a drive around. I did like that. So if we activate, I did like that. Was interesting. We activate the shop trigger, and then when we leave the shop trigger, we are popped at the door. Like, get the heck out of here. You've spent your money. Go away. Now we've got appears to have a fuel trigger here, but we don't have a fuel icon on the map. Thinking that this is a fuel point. Can't really validate that at this point. Yeah, the map definitely lives by its name. It's definitely a hilly map. to come into this particular sell point, which also seems to double as our animal buy point. We have a grain sell point. Possibly the spinnery. We'll validate that in a minute. And then we have our animal buy point there. That is indeed the spinnery for our wool and cotton. Again, I'm not really sure where the wool spawns at the wool, or sorry, at the sheep area. Just gonna have to find that out yourself once you get some sheep and get them producing wool. Back up here to the main road. Okay. Was not a access road point. Here we have our other sell point. With this car here, kind of makes a difficult entry in here. We're gonna just have to come in off the main road and then hope to squeeze between these two parked cars. Then where do we go? I guess exit out this very, very narrow lane here. Bit of a blind turn there. Trying to see which way I might want to go. I find it interesting that this map doesn't have a PGA on it. All these hills, you're probably really going to want decent horsepowered tractors, even if you're only using small, like 3 and 4 meter equipment, just to drag it up these pretty steep inclines. That is a pretty rough road now. This road treatment is really looking strange. I don't know if it looks strange to you guys in the video, but it really looks odd as the distance and near textures draw in. I really don't know if I like that, how it looks. Just from a gameplay perspective. Here's the sawmill. Wood chips. Log point. We have then our cell trigger. Pretty rough road coming through here. Alright guys, well that I think is pretty much it. The hills of Slovenia for Farm Sim 19. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the map? This map did come out in Farm Sim 17. What do you think of the differences between the 17 version and the 19 version? And until next time, happy farming. Be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.